All right, good evening. I'd like to call to order our August 12th, 2026 West Fargo Library Board meeting. We'll first do roll call. Tyler?
Here.
Tony?
Here.
Sarah?
Here.
Perfect, and I am here. Welcome. We are looking for an approval of the order of the agenda.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. Order of agenda passes. We do have time for any public comment. We didn't have any sign up ahead of time, so we are good there. Next, we'll move on to our new business. And we will have a financial update from our financial director.
Point of order, we have to approve the consent.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Golly, I miss that every once in a while. Thank you for the reminder. Yes, before we get to our regular agenda, we do need to approve our consent agenda, which includes approval of minutes from July and then approval of our financial reports. I'll make a motion to approve our consent agenda.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, same sign for, and we don't have any against it. So consent agenda passes. Next, now we will get to new business. And we do have financial updates from our financial director.
I don't know what you want to approve.
All right, thank you. All right, can I make this a little bigger? Ready? How do I do that? Oh,
Maybe.
Here it is. All right. See if we can make it as big as we can. I'll scroll to the right. All right. Anybody can see that okay? Or do you want me to make it a little bit larger?
Thank you.
There you go.
I'm not able to see it on Teams, but
Are you able to? Or
no.
No?
I can see if I can maybe follow along somewhere.
Yeah, there's a way I can do a sharing of the screen. Let's see, how do we do that?
Can we get Sarah the link to it, or she can't see this part? And it's not linked in our agenda?
It is.
Oh, it is? I didn't see it.
Does she have the packet?
Sarah, what's pulled up?
I do have the packet. I'll just follow along on that link. So we're good.
Yep. It's just the financial documents in the packet.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so I guess the first thing you should see, Sarah, is the property taxes, the revenues that are coming in for the library. Obviously, we'll have a starting point, which is our year-to-date actuals. So it's the actuals through July 2026 in this particular case, and how that compares to the annual budget as a whole. So as you can see, for property taxes, we're about 94%, meaning we've received about 94% of what we had planned for. We always have a few stragglers that don't take advantage of the 5% discount that we offer, which is normally the early special payments for property taxes. And we normally start to see even some through December 31st of the end of the year. So we do expect to receive the full amount. And we don't appear to see any delinquencies either, based on the information that we're getting from Cass County as well. After that, you'll see some state aid. This has been the full amount that we received. We usually get it once annually. So that's obviously been received. We do have a little bit of miscellaneous revenue. It's a little higher than what we had anticipated, which is always a good thing. And then obviously the sponsorships, that is a little bit lower. So we do expect to maybe get a little bit more sponsorships throughout the year, but we may not be receiving the full amount that we had anticipated. The interest on investments, that is coming in as we anticipated. And we actually changed the methodology last year in order to accommodate interest on our investments to be allocated more fairly. In this case, it would go to the general fund, more went into the library fund as well, and our enterprise utility fund. So that's looking pretty good too. Grants, We didn't have anything forecasted in there per se, but we are receiving a few, as well as donations. Typically don't forecast for those. And then transfers in, that has yet to be done because that's normally done on an annual basis at year end. So we'll go ahead and do that transfer up to $10,000. And then we have a little bit of sale of equipment, and that makes up the $2.5 million that you're seeing so far, which is great. Compare this to year over year last year as well, July 2025, and we are pretty in line with what we were seeing last year as well through July of 2025. Your expenses are actually a little lower year over year compared to last year. We're about 1.4 million, we're about 1.3 right now. So my guess is that there's probably some more expenses that we'll probably see through the end of the year, probably a little increase versus last year for that. You'll see our payroll expenses, we're about halfway there. And then obviously all the benefits that come with having staff. You'll see our professional expenses are a little lower, but obviously we're anticipating those to increase as at year end. The building expenses, we're in line with what I saw last year as well, about 50%. And in our operations, we are looking pretty good as well. So far, I don't see any potential overspend so far. So that's always a big plus. And in library, you'll see we have our beginning cash balances, the activity that we have so far, and then our ending. So this is just based on actuals. We don't forecast cash, obviously, but you can see that we have a pretty good, solid, and healthy fund balance. And I'm willing to take any questions at this point that you may have.
Thank you. Does anyone from the board have questions?
Madam Chair, I do.
Yeah.
Willie, thank you. Thank you very much. The state aid, does that fluctuate much? Will it always increase? Is it tied to something? Is it tied to?
Not always.
Okay.
Yes. And Jenna Zeps, you can speak a little bit more about it, but from what I've seen historically, it's based on obviously the buckets that we see from the state as they present them. But Jenna can speak a little bit more on that.
Yeah. The state aid is based on a formula.
Okay.
Part of that formula is related to our mill levy that we get from the city, our allocation that we get from the city. And so were that to go down, then our state aid would go down as well. So that's something that we do need to keep an eye on.
Gotcha. With the 3% cap, mills, that conversation, we would never go down in our proportionate share of the mills, would we? There would be no reason that the library would ever be decreasing their mills, right?
As long as we're staying pretty constant, then that state aid should stay pretty constant as well. But if we did see a significant drop, we have in the past had a significant drop in our mills. And then we did have a drop in our state aid as well. That formula is spelled out, and I can send that to you.
Sure.
Yeah, I can get that from the state library and send that to you.
Those years that the mills decreased, was that a policy decision of the commission to decrease that, or was
Yeah.
it just, oh, it was?
Yes, it was.
Yep.
Okay, got it. Okay, thank you.
Other questions? I think, is there anything that you'd want to share, Willie, around maybe almost not the nitty-gritty numbers, but just the process as the city has already approved their preliminary, but we have
Yep.
not looked at our draft, yet, like, because we have kind of two entities but that filter into almost one budget. And so, do you want to speak to that a little bit?
Yep, I can speak a little bit about the process. Right now, you're correct that we have approved a preliminary budget for the city. that also includes all of our funds, as well as our major funds. In this particular case, it includes the airport, and it includes the libraries. The expenditures that have been approved are based on your feedback and your information that you get from Jenna regarding, here's what we plan to spend for next year, and that is completely autonomous to you. You dedicate and you dictate the expenditure side of it. The commission will go ahead and look at the appropriate revenues that are associated with helping to fund those expenditure requests for each of the budget periods. And that includes obviously the property tax. We also mentioned the interest on our investments that we utilize. Those are the two primary functions that the city commission provides. And then obviously you'll have charges for services, fees associated with the library operations, as well as any potential donations. So right now, that process is approved, and what it does is it kind of locks down, and it used to do this all the time, where it would lock down the property tax, so you couldn't go any higher, but you could go lower.
Sure.
Ever since the cap that was initiated last year, we kind of always do the maximum and stay steady on that, unless there's an actual need to drop it for whatever reason that is. So we're at that point right now, and we're also at a point where we set up a public hearing so that we can present the preliminary budget on September the 8th, and we'll have the ability to hear public feedback on that. And then after that, we go ahead and do the final draft.
Okay, based on the approved preliminary budget, do you anticipate any major changes for the library in 2027?
There haven't been any major changes for it. There has been some minor changes to it, particularly in the COLA, or
Oh,
the salary section. So we did approve a 3%, and we brought it down to 2.5% in that regard.
okay,
So we're looking right now at potentially seeing if there's any potential from that savings to be able to utilize it for other expenditures, potentially buying and purchasing more physical media like books,
okay,
especially since after the, I think it was a survey information that we received for July saying that about 2/3 of our checkouts have been physical media. So we've noticed that our residents are very heavy on, and they have better interest in physical media as
Yep.
opposed to digital. So that would be a good opportunity to utilize some of those funds for that. So that way, at least for library, we won't have a surplus, so to speak. We'll actually be right on target,
okay,
particularly because of the adjustment to COLA.
okay. Do you anticipate us having, should we be paying closer attention to anything specific in the budget as we move forward? As we go to draft and approving our budget, is there anything we should be on the lookout for or paying more closely attention to?
In this particular case, no. I think we're going to try to
Okay.
keep in line with what you were presented during
Okay.
when you saw the draft of preliminary budget. There isn't any change overall in total, per se. So we're hoping to stay steady with that. It is at the discretion of the commissioners as well if they decide, like they have done in the past, where they say, maybe we'll drop, not the mill levy so much, but the dollars now. Mill levies are kind of becoming more irrelevant, so to speak, although they still utilize them, such as Cass County utilizes them for reporting purposes to compare cities over cities
Oh.
in that regard. So the mill levies do exist in some form or fashion, but there is that potential, decision making that could still occur from the commission side between now and till we get to final.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Any other questions?
Leanne, if I
Yeah.
could, Willie, to follow up on Leanne's question, I was looking for the vehicle purchase fund.
Yes.
Oh, right there, vehicle expenses, the 26,810. Do we anticipate the equipment fund, that kind of revolving fund that everybody would pay into? Are we anticipating that the library would be participating in that as well?
The library actually beat us to the punch in that because they already have their own.
Okay,
So the airport also has their own deferred equipment, as we're
Yep.
going to define it as. So they've been doing this for, at least for 5 to 6 years that I saw historically, where they would set aside funds, transfer, and that's the transfer of 10,000 that you see.
got it.
So we do that transfer every year, moving it from the operations over into this equipment or deferred equipment fund. so it can be utilized for purchasing vehicles and things like that are necessary. So, yeah.
Because they're kind of their own separate line item, the library, do you, from your conversations with city administrator, other staff, would it be likely that that the library itself as the entity, would we be participating, would we be pushing those dollars into that general deferred maintenance fund, or would we still operate independently?
It would probably still operate independently. We haven't discussed bringing the library into this general deferred equipment fund. For now, we were looking at mostly between the general city operational fund and enterprise utility funds.
Okay,
Because that's kind of where we see the biggest needs for vehicle purchases, especially
Yep.
material type of vehicles. But we haven't thought about bringing either library or airport into that fold, particularly because it seems that they have their own already.
yep, okay. That makes sense. Only other question.
Sure.
From the commission meeting a week or so ago, the total library fund expenses anticipated for fiscal year '27 was 2.77. Does
Yep.
that sound right? 2.77?
Yep.
In our ending balance that we're anticipating at the end of fiscal year '26 is 2.888. Is it likely then? Can you explain that a little bit? How we get, just so I understand moving forward, we're at 2.8 anticipated for our total expenditures
For 27?
for '26.
Oh, for 26?
So like down there at the bottom, right there, if you go down a little bit, cash balances at the very bottom.
Yeah.
Can you go down a little further? Right there, the 2.88?
Okay, yep, that's your ending cash balance, correct?
Yes. Oh, so that's just ending, that wouldn't necessarily be expenditures?
No, this section here is just the cash balances aspect. So the expenditures for 2026 are up here at 2.632,
Okay,
and that's what we have budgeted for 26.
got it.
This section down here just kind of shows you a rolling balance on your cash and what's available. And you can see that in this particular year, it looks like it's going to be ramping up and going up, at least for now, through July. As more expenditures take place and we start to get from this 1.3 to the 2.6, this cash balance will start to dip and go down.
Got it. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the board?
Thanks, Willie.
Yeah, thanks
problem.
for joining us. It
No
was
problem.
helpful.
Thank you.
No problem, thank you.
Okay, great. Next on our agenda, we do have an action item, and it is looking at approving early closure on September 24th for employee recognition event. And if you do open up in your packet that agenda item, we are looking to approve an early closure. And so that would be the recommendation for that. At 4 o'clock, sorry.
Nope, it's not that one.
Did I skip something again?
Nope, you didn't.
Okay.
I just clicked the wrong thing.
Okay, because you just got to call me out on it.
Good evening. Yeah, as you had indicated, the Employee Engagement Committee for the City of Fargo is hosting our annual Employee Recognition event on September 24th, which is a Thursday. And in order to allow employees to have every opportunity to attend the event and celebrate their fellow coworkers, we are asking for early closure of both the main library and then the satellite location here at City Hall. Closure would be at 4 p.m. And on Monday, we will be asking the City Commission for the same thing, other than essential services, of course.
Any questions for Bethany? If not, we are looking for a motion to approve that early closure at 4 at both sites.
I will motion to approve the early closure at both sites
Okay.
at 4.
At 4, thank you. We have a motion. Second. We have a second, thank you. We have a motion and a second Any other additional comments or questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you. All right. Next, we do have another action item. And you can look in your packet with that as well. Jenna, I think, did just put it up too. So tuberculosis screening for partner facility access. And maybe Jenna, if you want to give just a little background on that, or Bethany.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the two.
So to introduce this one, as the board may know, we provide outreach services to a number of senior living facilities across West Fargo. And one of our senior outreach sites has requested that our staff providing these services undergo tuberculosis screening, just to ensure safety for the residents, since our staff are in close proximity with the residents living there. And so we worked with HR and looked at other policies and put together a policy for our staff to see what that would look like. For our staff to get screening and ensure that they also had the opportunity to decline screening for religious or medical reasons as well, and then to have the opportunity to have different work assignments if necessary.
Share that? No. Okay.
And how does it follow our current City of West Fargo policy?
We don't currently have a tuberculosis screening policy for the city of Fargo. The city of West Fargo. We do have a couple of other departments that do have some immunization and screening requirements because of their responsibilities. And so that is a goal that we have, is to align the policies. But right now, this would be a standalone policy for the library.
Any other questions?
Leon, thanks. I'm unfamiliar with what a TB screening involves. Does it require blood draw? Or is it a saliva?
There's a few different options, but the one that we had worked with our occupational health facility on would require a blood draw. And then depending on the initial results, it would be either a negative screen and all is good, or if there was some follow-up testing that may be required, then they would guide the employee through that process.
Okay. And that is, the cost of that is borne by the city or by the library?
Yep, so in our budget, we do have a line that pays for, like pre-employment screening for drug testing. We would use those same funds to pay for the screening as well.
I think the one thing that we did discuss, though, is in the event that the employee would require some follow-up medical care due to their results, then at some point that transitions to the cost of the employee and their medical insurance. So
Okay.
we would pay for the initial screening and any required follow-up, but then at the point of a result, then responsibility transfers to the employee.
Okay.
And that's outlined in the policy as well as, I think it was on the waiver as well.
Correct.
Yep.
Okay.
And if we have people opt out, we believe we have enough people that we would be able to serve the senior outreach center?
Yeah, currently, we have 2 staff members going to each outreach site, and we have 3 staff members in the department providing service. And so we should be able to shift that around. It's only one site that is requesting this.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, we are looking to approve policy and the documents related to the TB screening. So we need a motion. I'll make a motion. I make a motion to approve policy and the documents related to the TB screening for adult services staff assigned to work in facilities which require this testing.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, and Tyler, this would also relate to, I think, an earlier question around our vehicle purchase. So we do have another action item around vehicle purchase, and I think Jenna did just put this up here as well. But we are looking at another vehicle, and Jenna, I'll say one more thing, and then you can kind of go into detail. But, I think the library, our board, all those involved have been really forward-thinking in how we, the work we do, what vehicles we need, and how we can, and you did ask, how do we pay for this, and how we pay for it. So I think we're in a really good spot right now, but I'll have Jenna kind of add the details to that.
Yeah, so we talked at our last board meeting about auctioning the old van that we had been using, and we got a little over $1,000 for that. That just showed up in the financial documents that Finance Director Willie just went over with us. And Willie also noted that this board has been very forward-thinking in setting money aside for the last handful of years with our transfers outlined in our budget. So we actually have $55,000 earmarked for large purchases such as vehicles. And this would be in our dedicated funds. We worked with the Public Works Department to determine what would be the most cost-effective vehicle for us. And they helped us get some quotes on that. We looked at what would have the best resale value, what's available right now that we would actually be able to get. And they determined that a Chevy Equinox would be the best vehicle for us. So a quote for that was attached in the documents. We also went through and did an analysis of how many miles our staff are driving, just kind of picking up the off-site book drops and delivering materials back and forth between the sites. And in the memo here, I noted that staff are using a second vehicle, or needing a second vehicle, or driving their personal vehicles about 215 miles per month in the winter and 245 miles per month in the summer. So really having that safe, reliable vehicle that we can count on for our staff, for our residents that use our library services, and rely on that movement of materials year-round is a significant benefit to our community. So with that, I stand for any questions. If there are questions from the board, we're recommending the purchase of that 2027 Chevy Equinox. And yeah, the quote was
Good.
attached. So.
Are there questions from the board members?
Madam Chair?
You sure?
Okay, Jenna, a couple questions. How many vehicles do we currently own?
The library currently just has the Library on Wheels van, which is our outreach vehicle, that has the specialty shelving in it. And so that's not great for just that back and forth runner because of that purpose. And when we did that analysis of miles driven, if we were to add those miles back in, it doubles the mileage because we're using that for all of our senior outreach sites and our spots at the park when we go to the parks and stuff. So that really has dedicated purposes that it's being used for. This vehicle will be used for other things.
On that note, are we paying GSA mileage for people that are using their own individual vehicle?
Yes.
We are.
Yep.
Which is what, 72 cents a mile? 71?
72.5.
72.50 a mile.
Yep.
So right there, we're incurring cost.
Yes.
So that's good to know. the 55, so we're using about what, I don't even know, 60% of the funds that we have earmarked right now. What would the remaining funds, just, we would want to keep that in there to continue to grow for, what would be the next big capital purchase that we'd make? Hard to say. at
Hard to
this
say.
point. Yeah.
We might need another runner. We might need the next library on wheels, bigger and better. Yeah.
Okay. And the reason I ask is, this is good. I don't know personally if I would buy a Chevy Equinox. That's obviously subjective. Everybody would have their own thing. I would think like longevity, resale, a Toyota wouldn't be a bad purchase. That's just me, right? The idea with this is hold it for 5 years and then trade in for a new vehicle. Is that the idea? Or run it into the ground? 15 years plus.
Yeah.
When it comes to the procurement process that Public Works has, they actually have contracts with the state, so they can actually purchase vehicles at a cost basis almost. So when it comes time for us to turn around and resell them, we almost get about 90% back historically from the vehicles that we purchased. And I think we cycle through them maybe every 7 years or so per our schedule. So based on your question, we think that this vehicle is suitable for the needs of the library for their transfers. And also, we feel like it have a pretty good resale value in the
Okay.
future because of that deal that we have with the state, particularly for, I think it's Chevy and Ford.
Okay. Okay. Good to know, right? This isn't really comparable to a personal purchase because you're getting it at wholesale, you're trading.
Correct, yeah.
You
So
got,
it's the wholesale cost and then about 7 years.
Yep.
And then we're getting about 90% back in resale, yeah.
and that's historically how it's happened. You usually get 90% back.
Yeah.
Public Works vehicles that we've noticed, yeah.
That's pretty unprecedented.
It is. Not for PD vehicles, though, especially the ones that are pit ready.
I'll talk a little closer to the microphone for Sarah. Not for PD vehicles, obviously, because we're running those into the ground, but, yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
And that was also why there was the recommendation for the all-wheel drive, again, for the higher resale value. Also, just
Well,
safety
and the
for our
winter.
staff
Yeah, yeah.
in driving year-round, yes.
Okay. Any other questions from the board members? All right, we are looking for an approval to
Move.
purchase.
Move to approve.
Okay, we have a motion to approve.
Second that.
We have a second. And a third. Any other questions? All those in favor? You're good. No, you're good, Sarah.
Okay.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you. Next on our regular agenda here, we have discuss any potential changes to bylaws. Last month at our board meeting, we really talked through like, hey, can all of us go through and make sure like everything is really on the up and up where we want it? I think, I think what we had talked about, Jen and I, is for even just you brought it right up there, and maybe Jen will talk through that too, but with our different roles, it may work best to have a staff fulfill that secretary position as we look at our groups and the minutes and all of those pieces. So that would be something I think that Jen and I would put out there for the group too, but if there's anything else, we can certainly look at that too, and it looks like if you've gone through it, the strike-throughs and some of those pieces have been put in place as a suggestion. And this is not an action item, though? Jenna?
It can be an action item if the board would like it to be.
Okay,
Since we discussed it a little bit at the last meeting, and then we have it.
well, and that's a good point. What we could do is look at any changes today, talk through anything else, do a final reading, maybe of the updates, and then we could formally have it as an action item next month.
Yep.
I think that's a great idea. Thank you. Are there questions or other suggestions for Jenna? Or really for the bylaws?
Did you say, Jenna, are you gonna, talk about any provisions in particular? Or is this really?
I can talk through the changes if you'd like, just roll through them.
I think I've got them. I just didn't know if there were any in particular that stuck out to you that were
I think
more-
just this, well, and you may have others, but the secretary one
Okay,
would be, I think, the more major change as we've defined it in the bylaws.
I don't know that it is actually
Okay.
a change.
Well, no,
Um,
that's a true statement because we haven't really been we don't use it as writing the minutes down or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. Haven't we had staff do that for quite a few years now? Maybe not quite a few years, but
But we have, yeah, you're correct, Sarah.
Yeah.
It's been, yeah,
Yeah. But, if you're gone, it's other people, or if
But we
we
have
have
other
a
staff
staffing
members.
change.
Yeah.
I feel like we don't want to necessarily appoint a particular staff person because that makes it difficult, then we'd have to reappoint. And so leaving it just as staff may fulfill this role gives us the most flexibility in our bylaws. What else?
besides date and maybe some wording type things, are there any other changes that have been made?
So there was, in Article 9, we changed may to shall. And that was for budgetary purposes. So members of the board may be members of North Dakota Library Association. Membership dues will be paid by the library. Membership dues for board members are just $25 each, so it's not going to break the bank if anybody decides they want to be a member. Please just let me know. But if we did want all board members to be members of NDLA, then that is something that we definitely should be putting in the budget, and we just haven't been. So, again, this was just a language change for flexibility there.
Jenna, on that note, Madam Chair, are we members of the Library Association, North Dakota Library, right now, or? No.
Not unless you
I think my first year on the board,
ask.
they did, but then after that, we haven't been signed up for it.
Is that just so you, obviously, the state would like those dollars.
Yeah,
but-
we would have, well, you would register yourself, and then we would reimburse you.
Gotcha. Okay. Benefits or anything? Is there a conference that we would attend or anything?
There's a conference, and you get a discount on your conference registration.
Okay.
And then there's like listservs that you,
Beyond,
and resources, and
okay.
Is there a desire from the library's standpoint to have a board member or multiple board members part of the association?
it definitely supports the Library Association to have board members participating. They get more dues, it's helpful.
Sure. Okay.
Okay.
Just depends on how engaged you want to be, I guess, with that. Also, at our last meeting, we talked a little bit about the language around appointments of offices at the July meeting. So we had a recommendation for a language change around that. And this was in looking at Century Code. We basically just took the language straight out of Century Code and plopped it in here at the beginning. So immediately after the appointment of its members, and then, which is straight out of Century Code, which we added to what we had previously, which was at the regular July meeting. So immediately after the appointment of its members, typically the regular July meeting, and so following. And then this
So
also
will you
addresses.
take out that whole line of a secretary may Or do you still want it maybe appointed either from the board? Like, do we need to appoint it since it will be a library staff member?
We thought we could leave May in
Okay.
there in the case that down the road,
Okay.
we had a board that felt strongly that they wanted to take control of the minutes.
Does that restrict us, though, in having to name a library staff member?
No,
Okay, so I don't have to appoint Alicia every time?
correct.
Okay.
I mean, it still says if a secretary is not appointed, library staff shall be responsible. So,
Okay.
as far as duties of officers, we struck the line out about reviewing the draft of minutes under the president because the president wasn't doing that.
Is this a performance review?
No.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, but
I was not.
the vice president had been doing it.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Good.
So we just moved that. And we also struck the line about other duties as described in the library policy manual because we don't have a library policy manual
That is true.
anymore. And then under vice president duties, then we added review draft of meeting minutes and act in the absence of the president as described above.
Do we really need that under anybody? Because don't we all we should all be reviewing the meeting minutes if we're approving them, right?
This was in advance of them going out to the rest of the board. So just
Okay.
to make sure there weren't any edits to be made before it goes out to the rest of the board. That's
Okay.
how we had been doing that in practice. We could eliminate that step if the board feels that's not necessary and the secretary can just handle
No,
that.
let's keep it in there. I like the double
like
check
that.
of it.
The double check.
Yeah, yep.
I mean, then we do have a board member handling
Yes.
minutes
Yep, I
at some
agree.
point and having eyes on it, so.
Mhm.
Looks good.
Treasurer, we didn't touch at all. Do we need a treasurer position, I guess is my question. We haven't really actually used
I
this
need a
position at all.
Seems kind of strange for, what purposes?
I think we'd originally inserted that because there was a desire from a particular board member to
Yeah.
be more financially involved.
Mhm.
I don't know, I think last month when we talked about the use of subcommittees or subgroups, I think really if we had some financial pieces that we wanted to look at, maybe we would do a subcommittee
Sure.
rather than having, unless, Tony, you found it valuable as a treasurer.
No, I think a subcommittee would probably be more workable
It might be useful, it might be more flexible in terms of,
if you really needed to do
yeah,
anything.
yeah. So that, I think, I would suggest maybe striking that
Striking
position out.
treasurer.
Unless there's other opinions from the board.
My only thought on this is that we have a separate fund for the library. We're very autonomous, right? We're very, we do library things here. And the authority of the library board is very unique and I think very special in that way, right? I think that, not saying that I want to be the treasurer, but I think one of the most important pieces of being autonomous, right? Freedom, great responsibility, we should have a treasurer.
Or could it be under the vice president? Like
Could
that
be.
duty?
It could be. The only thing I worry about is somebody, this is very, very volunteer, and you'd be putting you'd just be putting another plate on the VP.
Sure.
That's my only thought, is that great power, great responsibility. We'd want to have a board member that we could lean on for that financial knowledge. That would be nice. But I do agree. I think, to the, Willie's, everybody, with the 3% cap, we're going to be having these working groups related to financial things happening all the time. I think we leave it in, or that would be my desire, we just leave it in, knowing that the real meat and potatoes of the finances are going to be fleshed out through a working group. But if there's a liaison board member that can help do budget prep, I think that would be very helpful.
So does it need to be an officer that's appointed, or does a liaison fill that role?
I think, so is the treasurer part of the statutory requirements? One board member elected treasurer.
Century code?
Yeah, I think that we would have to keep the treasurer in there. Who can get to it first?
Race, yeah.
Is it 40? Is it under 40? Title 40?
Yeah, 4038.
They must organize by electing a president. It does not require election of a vice president, secretary, or treasurer. It does give the board authority to adopt bylaws concerning the duties of officers. So we can establish other officer positions within our own bylaws. It actually places responsibility for establishing and maintaining the library fund with the city auditor or county treasurer, rather than requiring a library board treasurer. The board still retains authority over approving expenditures. And then this does say there is an interesting provision in 403806 saying a duly bonded secretary treasurer of the board may draw money from the library fund upon board approved vouchers. This provision allows for those positions that don't appear to require that either office exists. There is a different rule for joint library boards serving multiple cities. Do we,
We are not a joint library board.
so,
Okay, well, that answers the question.
so Tyler, I do understand where you're coming from. I don't know if we need to have it listed as a position.
Yes, I agree. The other thing is that they're not handling any money, the treasurer's.
Correct, yeah.
So-
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. They're not signing off on anything.
We
No.
still have complete board control over approving that, looking that over.
Yeah.
And that should maintain. But I like the idea of moving towards the subcommittees
Mm-hmm.
to really be flexible of, like, what is coming up from the state or the city or something where, and maybe then it could be two of us, if needed, working with Jenna, working with other city folks.
Would basically happen that way.
Correct, it would happen that way. But it gives us, I think, a little more flexibility rather than having a specific position.
The only other thing is who will be the chair of the working group? Will it be the library board chair?
Like a financial working group? I don't think it has to be. It can be those that are interested in it. Just like we have Sarah working on human resources type
HR stuff.
things. I trust her as a board member to say, yeah, I've done my work with Jenna. This is the process I think we should do. I think any other board member can do the same for the financial piece.
For sure. Yeah, I'll go along with it. I'm thinking legacy planning when we're all gone.
Yeah, that's fair.
A treasurer there to have that person, to have a designated person when we're gone, that we can hand the ball off and we can say, hey, look, and maybe this assists library and city staff in budget preparation, maybe isn't the right scope of the treasurer. Maybe it is the treasurer will be will be appointed the chair of the financial working group, will chair the working group, because that's going to be perpetual, I would think, in duration. I would hope so,
Sure.
especially in the 3% cap environment. Like since I've been on the board, I've never really got into the nitty gritty of the budget, mostly because we don't need to, right? There's a trust component. But I think now with the 3%, to have some, when Jenna's gone, Jenna won't be here forever.
Well, we hope she's here for a very long
Right.
time.
For as long as we
Yes.
can have her.
Yes.
But, the legacy planning, having somebody on the board designated as a treasurer, maybe not in the budget preparation and advocate for library funding needs. because-
My fear with that, Tyler, though, is we put this in there for another person and for a specific person, and it just didn't, like, as a system,
Yeah,
it wasn't a great system to maintain what, I fully agree, we want to keep our eye on this, we want to make sure that we have some good representation. I don't think a position does that. I think if we can work through a system of, okay, what are our subcommittees and how do we maintain that? I think that's legacy, whether Jen is here or not. Here's how we run. We're going to have human resources, we're going to have financial, and maybe we have a building one, right? Those are the three main ones I think we should focus on as subcommittees. I think that's legacy. If we
Do we-
build a system that doesn't rely on people.
do we memorialize the working groups then?
Maybe. I think subcommittees or working groups, I don't know if it's in here, I didn't recall seeing it, but,
And that's kind of the thing, if we don't have those pieces in writing.
no, that's fair. Yep.
Because those aren't in writing. Not that we need those or that they'll always be a need. That's why I think that the treasurer role, it's in here. There's I don't know. The autonomy of the library board, I think warrants having that. Because otherwise, there'll just be a president, vice president. And then we just assume that one of those two appointments are doing something related to the budget. Or
Finish.
we memorialize the working groups or the subcommittees. And not that you need to,
Yep, yep.
Of course not. Again, legacy planning, somebody comes in here cold and this is all we leave them.
We're currently getting
Well, but is
reporting on-
your bylaws the place for that, or is
Right.
that board strategic planning?
And like you never want policies too, like,
Right.
you want these guardrails with, and this isn't even policy, right? These are bylaws.
Right.
And so you want, within policy or bylaws, you don't want them so specific that you don't have wiggle room to work through, like, oh, I want a different, like, I would not suggest listing our different, like, if we had working groups, we're not gonna list them. Because
Yeah.
what if we wanted a different working group to look at, I don't know, Kleenex boxes, I don't know.
Right.
But-
They'll change.
Yeah,
Which is exactly why the treasurer makes sense to me, is that you could
Okay.
have that placeholder and that they could chair a financial related working group.
Okay.
But we can take her out. We can take her out. I don't really know what
Is that
good it
clear as
does.
mud?
I just don't really understand the purpose of taking it out. Other than I know that Tony maybe isn't doing much in.
Aren't we getting basically the treasurer kind of reporting from the two of you each meeting, really?
Well, Alicia, our office manager, prepares the financial reports for us every month.
Okay.
With assistance from the finance department, from the city as well. And
Right.
so,
And we're acting as an informal committee, reviewing it
yep.
during the
And-
meeting.
And really, ideally, all board members should be engaged advocates for library funding needs. And in particular, I think our city commissioner because they're representing us, not to call you out, but representing us, you know, in that decision-making process when our request comes before the city commission and they're deciding yay or nay on our full request, should be a strong advocate for library funding needs as well. I mean, that's really what we're looking for.
The way we're inclined with the city's finances too is different.
It is
And
different.
It kind of lends itself to us able to get by how we are. But because we're looking at it, we could take an aside and look even deeper if we wanted to. But is it necessary?
Right.
How often is it necessary?
Yeah. No, I understand. Is the desire then to take it out altogether?
I mean, I think my desire to take it out is based on, that's not how we're functioning as a board. And I don't necessarily think, to Tony's point, even in the future, I don't think that's how we function. So,
Is,
We haven't been.
no, and I don't think, that's not the direction, even when we talk about subcommittees, that's not the direction that I hear this board going either, is using these roles to chair a subcommittee. It is who is interested from the board,
yeah,
and getting the right people to their skill set. So,
Yeah.
you know, I would make a suggestion to take it out because we're not using it, and I don't think we intend to use it in that manner. But,
city staff.
so. Sarah, do you have any thoughts on this one?
I can see both sides of it. But I do really like the idea of somebody taking that responsibility to keeping keeping it as a position, but also reporting it to another, like to the subcommittee, so multiple people could be on that committee. I don't know that I necessarily would just strike it out of the bylaws at this moment, but I do see both sides of it. So
Yep. Okay, thank you. I mean, we weren't coming to the table to take it off in the first place, so I think just leave it for right now.
Yep.
Yep. Are there any other major, because I think this took longer than anticipated, any other major adjustments? No, we're coming to the end of it.
I do like the secretary though, you know, being staff. I think
Yeah,
that-
absolutely.
I think that
It makes sense.
a ton of sense.
Yep. And you don't need action on this? Like, this is,
No, as long as we like the other edits.
I think all the other edits are great.
The other edits look
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can let this stew and bring it back
For a final reading, so you'll make
for a
the
final reading
changes.
in September?
And a final reading, and then that would be action then.
Okay,
Thank you.
is that board consensus? Yeah.
I think so. I think that would be great.
All right.
Our last, oh no, not our last one, our second to last one. And I like the addition of this, so this will be kind of a continuous agenda item, but board member updates. Like when we do have those subcommittees, just to have those updates, and anything else that you're doing with the library would be great. So kind of putting Sarah on the spot if she wants to update on the applicant process and the work she's done there, and then if she has any Friends of the Library updates too, we could start there, and then if anyone else has updates tonight, we can make updates, but just note, like, we'd love to have voice from every board member, and I just love that Jenna brought it up, and it's a great addition to our agenda.
I think so too.
Sarah, do you want to go through updates from your end?
sure, I can start with the library board applicants, which we had 4 of, and right now, so when the whole email changes happened, I did not get the applications. So IT was able to resend them to me with a new email change. So I've been going through those, and Jenna and I have been talking about the interview process and developing interview questions. So our next step on that is going to be actually interviewing those candidates in person, because we have a really good rich pool of candidates that all bring different strengths to our board. I think in reviewing their apps, I think we just need to figure out our strongest candidate. So hopefully next week we'll be getting some of those in-person interviews scheduled, and I'll come with a recommendation.
Perfect. That's great. Thank you, Sarah, for working on that.
Mhm.
Do you have any Friends of the Library updates at all?
I do. I'm just pulling up my notes here from that. So it looks like we are going to be doing a silent reading party. It's going to be that whole fall in love with like a blind book event again. We're going to do that October 1st. It'll be at Junkyard in West Fargo from 5:30 to 7:30. And then we discussed Giving Hearts Day again. We're going to see if Marvin's going to be our sponsor again, or if we want to participate and go from there. And then we're also looking at getting some Friends of the Library swag. So like some stickers, some pens, some really
Nice.
just fun stuff. So that's where we're at. And of course our book sale's coming up in October too.
Great. Thank you, Sarah.
Mhm.
Good. Any other updates from board members? I just want to shout out to all the people that did the library card design. Like, I looked through all of them, and they're amazing. And there's no winner yet, but they're all winners, because they were all really great, and I really love that. So not so much an update, just a shout out to the people that participated in that.
I had a hard time picking.
I know.
Just 3
Yes.
for each category.
Any other board member updates?
I was just going to echo what you said.
Yeah.
Really proud to be a member of West Fargo, City of West Fargo. Just awesome. Great artistic ability. Just awesome.
Okay. Great, thank you. Last on our agenda, we do have our director's report from Jenna.
Thank you. So I know we talked about finances already, so we'll breeze through this, but we're about 50% expended year to date. Just to rehash that budget timeline, we're in August right now. So the city preliminary budget was just approved in September. We will be bringing a draft of the library's final budget to the board to look at. Board members, if you would like to have a one-on-one sit-down to go through that line by line together, let's get that set up. I think we are really close to having that first draft of that final budget ready for you to take a peek at. And then in October, the city will be approving their final budget on or before October 10th. The library will be approving our final budget after that city budget has been finalized. And that's so that we don't have to immediately do a budget amendment. So we'll just update our one page in the city's budget book. And that's what we've done the last year or two, and that's worked out really well. Taking a peek at the satellite library, we had our highest foot traffic at the satellite yet. Physical circulation was really high, and so was the door count. In the main library, numbers looked really great as well. Physical circulation was really high. Door count was looking great too. This was our highest month for circulation ever that we were able to find. For physical and digital combined, it was almost 30,000. That was really awesome. Door count wise continues to trend higher than previous years, but not quite as high as June. So yeah, again, there's that circulation number. Highest circulation to date. It's fun to look at these charts and see that every year we just are bumping up another notch. For youth and family programs, some recent updates for you. We had an all ages America's Birthday Party for the 4th of July. That was really popular with almost 200 attendees. Our Summer Boost program just ended at the end of July. We had 835 participants of all ages. That was way higher than last year. And we will be having that Summer Boost impact report shared with you in September, and our youth services manager will come and give a kind of a presentation overview for you on that. That's one of the best reports we get to give of the year. It's always fun to hear from her. As usual, story times continue to be popular in July. We're going to take a little break the last 2 weeks in August. That youth services team is tired. They've been running 100 miles per hour all summer, so they just need that little reset to get ready for fall. Weekly STEM programs, crafts, and our teen hour ended last week. We are looking forward to a really busy fall with the return of Saturday STEM programs, a new teen book club, Pokemon club, and a Beanstack challenge for elementary kids. Adult and senior programs have been busy as well. In July, our Monday matinees opened up to all ages, facilitated by our adult services team. Nearly 200 people came for movies this summer. Having that here in the commission chambers was a total game changer. Golden Gatherings is our senior kind of social hour, which we're having on the second Tuesday of the month. They've been having awesome discussions and great attendance for that. Book clubs continued in July with really good attendance in August. They've been reading and discussing the One Book, One Community title. And a couple of the groups are having a special guest talk about guitars, and that's Mark Burnson. You can see him pictured there. He teaches guitars in West Fargo Public Schools, and he's kind of a local superhero as well. We have one more silent reading party coming up on the 20th at Rivers Bend Park. And the Adult Services team has been working on updating the MOUs with senior sites for more efficient senior deliveries. They're looking forward to a very busy fall with more senior-specific programs and lots of community partnerships. Just a reminder that tomorrow is the end of summer celebration at Palmia Plaza from 5 to 7. I hope you can join us there for that. I did also, we don't have a slide in here, but wanted to give a shout out to our circulation team. They've been super busy all summer long too, making sure things are checked in, checked out, keeping all of the displays filled. And one of the things that I found really interesting now that we're about a year and a half into having the satellite open here is when people have come in the summer and they're looking for a book and they're at the main library and it turns out that the book that they want is here at the satellite, most people are very happy to just come down to the satellite and pick it up. We're able to, on Teams chat, send a message ahead and say, hey, we have a patron coming, can you pull the book off the shelf for them? You know, we'll put it on hold, and the family will buzz down and pick it up off the shelf. And it's a great opportunity for folks that didn't know that we had this location to learn about it and not crabby about it at all. So that's been really interesting. It happens a couple times a week. So anyway, any questions for me about anything, board?
No, thank you so much.
All right.
I always appreciate your updates. We are at the end of our meeting here. I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Meeting adjourned. Thank you so much.
Bye.